today, first time in a long time, by special request, I am doing a tutorial on my Through the Windows summer top pattern. This was specially requested by someone who could not do patterns so well, but they can do tutorials. I am really thrilled to be able to make a video on this. And I know some people, they do better with tutorials, some people do better with a pattern, and some people like to have the written pattern while they're watching a tutorial. So hopefully I cover all the bases here. And I have my pattern here. So what I'm going to do is show you how to do this top. Now my printer's running out of ink, so I don't know if you can see it that well, but this is through my window. This is my Through the Windows summer top, and I've been asked to make a cardigan with this. I've been asked to make like just a pullover sweater. So this might turn into a Through the Windows series. I don't know. We'll see how much time I have, but let's get started. Okay, so I have the pattern right here. We are going to be working with it today. I am going to be pretty much just doing a swatch because this is a pattern that lends to your own creativity. I am going to be using the Karen Latte cakes, and it's just that time of year. You know, it's getting pretty close to that time of year. And if you know nothing about Karen Latte cakes, it is a very soft yarn. It is considered a bulky weight number 5. Each cake has 530 yards. You can see it's 58% acrylic and 42% nylon, so it's got some stretch to it. And I am using the color Grinding Teal. So like I said, I'm going to be doing a swatch because this gives you a multiple of 6 plus 3. So you can cater it to your size. All you have to do is take your measurements. So let's say you have a bust size of 42. You just chain multiples of 6 until you reach 42, and then you're going to add 3 more chains, and that will make it form-fitting. So what I would do is I would write down your measurement from the largest part of your the top of your body, whether it be your chest or your hips, what have you. And then I would do your multiple of 6, and then add another 6 to 12 chains onto that if you want it to be loose fitting. I prefer my sweaters to be loose fitting. I don't like form fitting. I'm a size 2X. And I don't need to accentuate all my curves, but that is just me. If you're not a plus size, go for it however you want. And excuse the noise in the background. My daughter is being sidetracked with her tablet. Anyway, so what you're going to want to do is make a slip knot. I am going to do a swatch. So I am going to chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now that I got my multiples of 6, I need to add 3 more chains. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now that we got our chains, and like I said, this is just a swatch, you will measure this according to your personal measurements. And what we're going to do is double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 chains. We are going to double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook, and we're going to double crochet in every chain across. So I'll do the first couple with you. Pull out some yarn. Double crochet, double crochet, and we are going to do this all the way down the chain, and I'll see you at the end. Okay, so now that we've made it to the end of this, it says that we are going to chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. We're going to turn our work, and since this chain 3 counts as a double crochet, we are going to double crochet into the next double crochet. Okay, so we have our 2 double crochets, and we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. We're going to skip 3 chains, so 1, 2, 3. And in this 4th chain here, we are going to double crochet. And then the next chain, we're going to double crochet. And then in the next chain after that, so that we have a chain 3 and 3 double crochets. Now we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Skip 3 chains. So I know it's kind of hard to see with the latte cakes, but we have 1, 2, 3, and in this 4th one, we are going to double crochet. So here's 1 double crochet. We're going to do another double crochet, and then 1 more. So a total of 3 double crochets in a row. And we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Now you're going to repeat this all the way down to the last, let's see, I think 5 stitches. And I'll meet you there at the end. Okay, so as you can see, this is what the row's looking like. I know intuitively you want to put 3 stitches here, but we only need 2. And then we got chain 3, 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet, skipping 3 chains in between and going into the 4th. Now we have 5 double crochet left. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the turning chain, right? Which is 5. So we got our last group of 3. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to skip these next 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to do in the last 2 stitches a double crochet. And don't forget about your turning chain. Okay, so the next row is a little bit different, and it's going to seem a little odd, but there is a rhyme and reason for it. And the second row of the windows is going to be the only row that is like this. So on the second one, we are going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we chain 4 because we need to crochet in this space here first. Okay, so we have our double crochet and a chain 1, and that covers the first double crochet, and skip the chain 1 kind of covers this stitch here because we're going to skip over that. So we're going to chain 4, and in this chain space we are going to double crochet 3 times. So that's 2 and that's 3. And this chain 1 kind of helps us get over to this chain 3 space. And you're going to chain 3. You're going to skip over these, and into the next chain 3 space, we are going to put 3 double crochet. Now here's a little tip for you. If you prefer it better, because these will eventually kind of slide over like that, but if it puts your mind at ease, you can, these are a chain 3, and you have to put 3 double crochets in here. So if it makes you feel better, you can work into the 3 chains as opposed to going around the 3 chains. Either way works, but going into the chains, it'll take a little longer. But if you're really concerned about it, you can go into the chains. Okay, so then after this one, you're going to chain 3, skip over these 3 double crochet, and go into this chain 3 and do 3 double crochet. Chain 3, and into this last chain 3 space, we're going to put 3 double crochet. Okay, and just like at the beginning of the row here, we have our 3 double crochet. We're going to need a chain space and then a double crochet. So we need to chain 1 for that little chain space, because we're going to skip over this one. Just like we did in the beginning, we're going to do it in the end too. So the chain 1 covers this, okay? It compensates for skipping over this double crochet. And then we are going to double crochet in the third chain, the top of the turning chain, and there we go. Okay, so this is what your work is going to look like right now. This is what we've done so far. Okay, so now we are going to, this would be the 4th step, the 4th step in the pattern. So it says double crochet 3 times. Well, first we need to chain 3. Okay, I'm sorry, this is the 5th step. So we're going to chain 3, and remember, this second row here is the only row in the windows part of the pattern that we will chain 4. So we chain 3, we're going to turn our work. So we need to put a double crochet in this chain 1 space here. And that's what it says, double crochet in the next chain 1 space. Well, this is the only chain 1 space, and this would be the very next one. So we are going to double crochet into that. And now this 3rd row is going to look like this 1st row here of the windows pattern. So we are going to chain 3, skip over these 3 double crochet, and 3 double crochet in the chain 3 space. Chain 3, and we are going to do the same. Skip over these 3 and chain and 3 double crochet in this next chain 3 space. And I'm going to let you repeat this to the end, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, so now we are at the end. We have our last 3 double crochet grouping here. We've got our chain 3 right here, and just like at the beginning of the row, we have the chain 4, which is a double crochet and a chain 1 space. So we are going to double crochet into this chain 1 space, and then we are going to count up 3 chains, so 1, 2, 3, and we are going to double crochet, not in the 4th chain, but in the 3rd chain. There we go. Now we're going to chain 3, counts as a double crochet, and we are going to do step 6 of the pattern. So it says to double crochet in the next double crochet 3 times in the next chain 3 space, then double crochet in each of the next 3 double crochet, and we'll repeat that across. So this is essentially going to be all double crochet row. We're not going to be skipping anything in this. We are just going to double crochet all the way across. So we're going to double crochet in the next double crochet, 3 double crochet in the chain 3 space, 3, and then 1 double crochet in each of the next 3 double crochets, 3 double crochets in the chain 3 space, okay, make sure I got those 3, yep, okay, 1 double crochet in each of the next 3 double crochets, 3 double crochet in the next 3 double chain, next chain 3 space, 1 double crochet in each of the next 3 double crochets. Okay. 3 double crochets in the chain 3 space, 1, 2, 3, and now we have these 2 left. So we are going to double crochet in the top of this double crochet here, like that, and don't forget to double crochet in the top of your chain 3. Then we are going to hit step 7, chain 3, turn your work, and then we are literally just going to do a double crochet in every double crochet across. So go ahead and do that, and I'll meet you down here at the end. Okay, so I have made it to the end. As you can see, we have 2 double crochet rows. I know it does not seem like this first row where we were doing the 3 double crochets in the chain 3 space, it does not seem like it's a double crochet row, but it is a double crochet in every single stitch across to be a solid double crochet row with no chains, no spaces. And then we just did it a second time and finished up. Now I'm to the end, okay, and we are going to start the pattern all over again. So I'm going to do it one more time with you. We're going to chain 3, and we are going back to this row right here. Okay, so the chain 3 does count as a double crochet, so we are going to double crochet into the next double crochet. we are going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip 3 chains and go into the 4th chain and do a double crochet in the next 3 stitches. So we have the 3 there, chain 3, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and in this 4th one, or the next one, however you care to say it, we are going to do 3 double crochets in the next 3 1 double crochet into the next 3 double crochets. So we're making a little window right here, right here, right here, right here. 1, 2, 3 into the next, or the 4th, however you say it. Double crochet, 1 double crochet into the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, skip 3, you have 2 left, and we're going to double crochet into the last stitch and the turning chain. Remember, the second one we're going to chain 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and as a reminder, that counts as a double crochet and a chain 1 space. So we are going to skip over this one because we have chain 4 instead of chain 3, and we're going to put 3 double crochets into the chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3. Skip over these next 3 double crochets into the next chain 3 space. Chain 3, and we're going to do this all the way down until we reach these last 2 stitches. Okay, so we have reached these last 2 stitches, and just like at the beginning of the row, we need a chain space to go past this, to count for this, but not to go into this. And we are going to double crochet and then into the 3rd chain, or the top of the turning chain. Oh Lord, help me talk. Okay, now we're just going to chain 3. Okay, turn our work. We have to put it, we're going back to having the 2 double crochets like we did in the first. So we have this chain 1, we're going to fill that chain 1 space in. So we're going to put a double crochet there. Now we have the 2 double crochets just like we did in this one. We are going to chain 3, double crochet, and 3 double crochet into the chain 3 space. Okay, chain 3, well, that was 2, 3, double crochet into the next, we're skipping over these, 3 double crochet into the next chain 3 space, and we're going to chain 3, skip over these, 3 double crochet, we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and because this is a chain 4, which is a double crochet and a chain 1 space, we are going to put a double crochet into the chain 1 space. And even if you have to scoot this over, count 3 stitches, 3 chains up, 1, 2, 3, and we are going to double crochet into the 3rd chain from the bottom, chain 3, turn our work, and now that we have 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, we have our 3 rows we are going to do the fill in with all double crochets. So you're going to double crochet into the next double crochet, 3 double crochet into the chain 3 space, one double crochet into the next 3 double crochets, 1 double crochet each, 2, 3 double crochets into the chain 3 space, and you keep going and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so we've made it to the end of this row. We got a double crochet and a chain 3 space. We are going to double crochet and double crochet in the top of the turning chain. Okay, and chain 3. So, and turn. So this is what it's looking like. Isn't that beautiful? All right. Next, we will double crochet in every double crochet across. So I'll do a few with you and I'll pause for a moment and meet you at the end. Alrighty, and look, this is what it'll look like, and you just keep repeating these rows over and over again until your top, you reach the desired length for your top. And this is the front side. And what you want to do is end when you get to when you have done as many rows as you want to do, okay? You want to end it with the 2 double crochet rows. And that's what you want to do. So keep doing your top, keep doing these rows over and over until you reach your desired length. Alrighty, so in the next step, we are going to sew our panels together. Now, I have 2 different needles here. This is the one I always find. You see how it's got kind of that blunt tip. And this is the one I typically find in the stores. And I feel like I kind of got lucky because I found this one that's got a more pointed tip to it. I don't know if you can see, but let me show you the difference on these tips. So, as you can see, one's a little more pointed and one's a little more blunt. Me personally, I wish I remembered which company I got this pointed one from or which store, because this is my favorite. So you are going to need one of these because you are going to have to take your panels, which I've already done 2 panels, okay? And this is what it looks like. I didn't use the Karen Latte cakes. This is my bigger size. And I just kept going and going and going with it. I don't have the most room. Let me see if I can raise this up a little bit. There we go. So as you can see, I have my wrong sides facing out. And what you want to do is figure out how big you want your neck hole. And what I basically did was I lined everything up and I counted these little 3 double crochet uh, things and moved it over till I reached the neck hole size. Now this isn't exact because I want to kind of get close to these, but but this is not necessarily an exact count. I just want it to be in this general vicinity that I have my neck hole, okay? So when you start sewing up, okay, you're going to start here and you're going to match up your stitches. And as you come closer and closer and closer to your stitch marker, you might sew up a little before or a little after. That's kind of how I worked it. It'll be more exact when you start sewing it up. So I have my neck hole marked out, okay? And then you're going to want to go to the side and figure out where you want your armhole or how far down you want it to be, okay? And what I prefer to do is to start at the bottom of the armhole and sew all the way down till I get to the bottom. Now, if you want, I've done like 2 or 3 of these sweaters, okay? So on one of them, I left a little slit at the bottom like this so that, you know, in case my hips were a little bigger, I had that space. So I did both my armholes. It'll be kind of close. I'm kind of looking at it now and thinking, that armhole seems a little small. So I might move this down a little bit. But what you're going to want to do is first sew across the top of your sweater, and it doesn't really matter how you sew it as far as whether you slip stitch it across or whether you mattress stitch it or what's that other one? You could single crochet it, whatever. Your favorite method of joining things, okay? Whip stitch, what have you. That's what you're going to do. So you're going to leave the neck for you're going to leave room for your neck hole, okay? You're going to sew down the sides. Then you're going to meet up with your armholes, the bottom of your armholes. Don't sew up right here. You'll be sorry. And you're going to start at the bottom of your armhole and you're going to sew all the way down using your favorite method: mattress stitch, whip stitching, slip stitching, single crochet, whatever works best for you. This pattern is just a general guide and you can be as creative as you want. And certainly it will help you grow in your crocheting. It'll help you grow and become a better crocheter when you are able to be more creative and design things for yourself. So that's why I never give exact measurements, because one person who's 2X might have different measurements and different chain counts than another person who is a 2X or an extra large or a medium or what have you. So go ahead and sew across your shoulders, okay? Leave room for your neck. Sew down the sides, and when that is done, I will meet you and show you how to finish off your sweater. Okay, I am back. I got my needle. I got a really long piece of yarn because now it's sewing time. So I am going to thread my needle. And it is time to sew. Now, me personally, I like to do what I believe it's the whip stitch, where you, or is it the mattress stitch, where you just go, not the whip stitch, I'm sorry, mattress stitch, where you just go back and forth. So I'm going to put it through my first stitch here and through what is actually the third chain of this turning chain. That would be right here, making sure to get 2 loops, and I'm just going to pull it through. Now, I like to leave a long tail because I like to sew it in really well in all different directions. And that's what I do because I like to make sure it's nice and secure and that it's not going anywhere. Okay. So I am going to sew this. I'm going to go into each stitch, making sure I get both loops because I just feel like it's more secure that way. And this is how I'm doing it. And I do have a pair of scissors, my trusty scissors. And I am just going to sew it. I'm going to put it in through the front. And then in the next stitch, I'm going to come in through the back. Sorry, I think I had that out of the camera view. Go in from the front, making sure to get both loops on both stitches. All right, and don't pull it too tight, otherwise it'll bunch up. We don't want it to bunch up. And I'm going to come in from the back and come to the front. And go from the front and come out through the back. And this is how I like to sew my garments together. You want it to be a little snug, but not tight. All right, and then I'm going to come in through the back and sew to the front. And this is kind of why I had you end on the double crochet row, the second double crochet row, because it's easier instead of having to guess where to put your next stitch or next sewing spot. You have the exact stitches. And I'm going to do this all the way down till I reach about right here. And yeah, it's bulking up, but this is why I told you that when you mark where you want your head hole to be, your neck hole, it's not going to be exact. It's just kind of a, this is right about where I want it kind of thing. So I am going to sew all the way down using my method of stitching together things. And I will meet you right there, right about here. Okay, so I have sewn my garment across. I reached my stitch marker. Now I can pull my stitch marker out. Look, it's Pusheen. Okay, and me, I just like to go through that last hole one more time. Okay, see, it's going this way. I'm going to pull it through this back side here and knot it. I'm only going to do it once because what I prefer to do is to leave a nice long tail where I can sew it through multiple times. Now, if you want, you can count each stitch. If you want to be exact, you can count every stitch across and make sure it's exact. I think if there's only 1 or 2 stitch difference, it's not going to be a big deal. from this side. But you know, you can essentially count each and every stitch on both panels of the garments and line them up perfectly if you wish. Anyway, so let me show you kind of what it looks like when it's sewn up. So this is how I like mine to look when it's sewn up. And when you wear it, that will kind of stretch apart. And I think it just looks cleaner. So now that you have done one side, go ahead and do the other side, and I'll meet you when it's time to sew up the sides of your top. Okay, so I have sewn both my shoulders. I have this armhole now. Okay, right there. I have marked where I wanted to start. And now we are going to take that same sewing method and sew all the way down. Now, if you want to, because these will all line up like this, just to keep them straight, if you want to, just every several rows, you can take a stitch marker and line it all up and place a stitch marker randomly down the side just to keep it all lined up and straight. Because sometimes when you're sewing, maybe you get a stitch ahead or a stitch behind, and all of a sudden it's a little uneven. So you want to make sure you can always randomly put stitch markers along the side just to hold it all together. So you are going to use the same method for sewing down the sides as you did for sewing the shoulders. Be sure not to sew up your armhole. You know, when I was a beginner, I did that once. And I had to pretty much, now you're not going to have definite stitches on the side. So this is where you will have to kind of, you know, space out, you know, where you sew it evenly. So yeah, you're just going to sew down the side. It's going to be a little bit more challenging because you don't have exact stitches to go into, but just try to keep it even, you know. I'd say put your stitches in every spot that you would put a single crochet. So, and space them out in a single crochet fashion, if that makes sense. So I have this here. I'd probably put, if I were to single crochet, I'd probably put one there. So yeah, just sew it all the way down. And then you're going to want to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to sew down both my sides, doing the same way I did my shoulders. And when I am done with that, I will meet with you, and then I'll show you how to border it and finish it off. Okay, so now that I have sewn my top on the shoulders and down the sides, I am not the best sewer, to be honest with you, but it is sewn right up here. Now we're going to put a little trim on the sweater, and I am going to start from the top down. Okay, so here is my neck hole. Oh, good Lord. You know, I don't even think I told you what hook size I use with this, and hopefully you would just default to what the yarn says. But with this Karen Latte Cakes, I am using a size K 10.5 6.5 millimeter. Okay. Actually, that's what I use to make the sweater. But when it comes to the trim, I am going down to the J10 5.75 millimeter. Okay, so you're going to want to make your slip knot. Put your hook on it. And me, I feel like single crochets around the edge are going to be too small, but don't want to do a double crochet. So I like to do half double crochets. I think it's a good way to meet in the middle. So you're going to join your yarn. Okay, chain 1. And we are going to half double crochet into that same stitch. Now, when we come to the shoulder seam right here, okay, do you see it where it's like seamed up right here? I like to half double crochet 2 together, and maybe I half double crochet 2 together like everyone else, or maybe I don't, but this is how I half double crochet 2 together. So I yarn over, go in the loop. Okay, so I have 3 loops on my hook. Then I don't yarn over, and I go into that second one, pull up a loop, and then pull through all the loops. And that's how I do a half double crochet 2 together. So that I just do that on the seam, like where there's a stitch on one. So this is my seam. So the stitch on one side of my seam and the stitch on the other, I half double crochet those 2 together. I think it just looks neater that way. And you are going to half double crochet all the way around. I'm not going to teach you how to do a double crochet because it's not teaching. This is just a tutorial. So this is what I do. And when you get to the other side where it is seamed, then you will right here and right here. So right in between these is the seam. You're going to half double crochet these 2 together. Okay. So I think you'll understand that and remember it. You can do your own way of half double crocheting 2 together. I know there's going to be some people who say there's only one way. Well, you're just joining those 2 stitches and making them one. So half double crochet all the way around your neckline, being sure to half double crochet 2 together at the seam line where there's that little spot on either side. And you can do, if you like it better, you could do more than 1 row of the half double crochet around. See? Oh, yeah. And then, so you have 4 loops on your hook. And then, so I just did that second seam. Half double crochet all the way around. If you don't want to do a half double crochet 2 together on that seam and you want to make them 2 separate stitches, more power to you. It's like totally up to you. So go ahead and finish half double crocheting all the way around, and I'll meet you right here at the beginning. Okay, so I have made it back around. I've half double crocheted in my last stitch, and now I'm just going to join it. Chain 1, and this is what the neck hole looks like. Okay, and this is how I like it. If you prefer to do a single crochet across, You are more than welcome. But this is what I did. And I think I do not want to do another row of half double crochets. So I'm just going to leave it like this. And I will cut my yarn. And now we are on to the armhole. Just flipping this around here. I have not sewn in my ends, so they might get in the way for a minute, but we're going to do this. So you can join pretty much anywhere. I prefer to join at the B, which would be the bottom part. So we have the B, we have these two right here, this big V here. This is the seam where you join them. So I like to start right about here. Okay. So I am going to join my yarn. And we are pretty much going to do the same thing with the sleeves. We are going to join to the stitch, chain 1, half double crochet into that first stitch, and just kind of try to space your half double crochets apart because this doesn't have any actual stitches to work into. It's just like when you sewed up the side. And sorry if my camera shook a little. I bumped it. It's a little shaky when you bump it. Okay. So you're just going to have to try and kind of, like here in this big chain space, I'd probably put 3 half double crochets. Maybe some people only do 2. Yeah, there's still, well, maybe I'll put the half double crochet right there. Anyway, you just kind of fit a half double crochet wherever you think you can. I try to do like 2 half double crochets for every chain 3 or double crochet space. It doesn't always work out that way. But I try my best. You know, just kind of space them out however you can. And just like the seam on the neck part of the shoulder, on this seam, we're also going to half double crochet 2 together. Now, like I said before, you don't have to. This is your own work of art. I'm just providing, okay, I don't know why I'm all of a sudden bumping the camera. But anyway, this is your work of art. I'm just providing the foundation, the basic, and I kind of look at all patterns this way. You know, people are going to modify patterns. Okay, so we're going to put one there, and we'll crochet. Whoop, that's right, I don't. Okay, so we're going to do 2 together there, and there's space for another half double crochet right there. So I'm going to put one there, one right there, one right here. Anyway, go ahead and half double crochet all the way around. And with me, I like to do like 4 rows of the half double crochets for my sleeve. And this is totally up to you how you like to do it. If you only want 2 rows of half double crochets on your sleeves, that's totally fine too. It's your work of art. It's your project. It's what makes you happy and what you like best. I'm bumping the camera because I'm trying to flip my sweater around. Let's see if I can do it better. Okay, so those are my ends that I have not sewn in yet. Okay, so like you don't have to have you're just doing half double crochets. You're just doing a little border around it to, make it look a little nicer, or to add more sleeve to it. Okay, I'm getting close to, I have all these ends. I'm getting close to that V that goes under the armpit, so. And I think I will do about 4 rows like I did on my last top. The last top I did, okay, so I'm going to put 2 half double crochets in this space. So there was one, and in this V part of the armpit, I'm going to half double crochet 2 together and then join. So I'm going to do about 4 rows of this half double crochet row, okay? I'm going to do 4 rows. And remember, at the joining parts, you'll want to half double crochet 2 together. So I am going to do about 4 rows on either sleeve of these half double crochets, and then I'll tie off and we will do the bottom part of the sweater, and I'll see you then. Okay, so as you can see, I did 4 rows of half double crochet on my sleeves. So this is what my neckline looks like, and this is what my sleeve looks like. I like to have that extra sleeve. I'm kind of self-conscious of my arm wings. So yeah, this is what the sleeve looks like. So you have your neck, the neck, and the sleeve, and I'm totally okay with it. If you only want to do 1 row or 2 rows or 3 rows of the half double crochet, it's fine. It's up to you. Now on to the bottom. Okay, so here's the fun part. Okay, so you're going to, okay, first I want to mention something I did forget to mention is when you are done sewing up the shoulders and the sides of your top, you want to turn it back around right side out. Okay, I think I did forget to mention that. I haven't done a tutorial for a really long time. Circumstances kept getting in the way, but before you do your sleeve and your neckline, when you've sewn up your shoulder and you've sewn down the sides of your top, you want to turn it right side out and then do your border thing. And that might probably already be obvious, but I'm just going to mention that just in case. Okay, so now we're going to do the bottom. Again, I am going to use the J hook. And I'm going to insert it in any stitch. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. Chain 1. And again, we're just going to half double crochet all the way around. When you hit those side seams, if you want to, you can half double crochet 2 together. And yeah, That's pretty much all you do. Half double crochet all the way around. You can do 1 row, you can do 2 rows. Again, it is totally up to you. I write a very general pattern because frankly, whenever I was doing other people's tutorials or other people's patterns, I always changed something in it anyway. I always found a way to make it my own. And I just decided, when I write patterns or when I do tutorials, that's just how it's going to be. That's how I want them to look at it, because that's kind of how I did. And I realize some people are a little bit more structured and exact than others, and that's fine. This allows you to do that too. So if you want to follow the pattern exactly, it's fine. If you want to add a picot border or a shell border, go for it. I just want to see your projects when they're done. If you do my pattern, if you buy my pattern in my Etsy shop or you do the tutorial on here, I would absolutely love for you to email me and show me your finished project. Okay, so I'm just going to keep working around and around. And when I get back to the beginning, which is right here, I will slip stitch chain 1 and cut my yarn. Anyway, I will meet you when I get back to the beginning, and we will have a look-see at the whole project when it is done. See you there. So as you can see, the sweater has turned out. I wanted to show it on my mannequin so you get an idea of what it looked like. I didn't want to just lay it out on my table. So this is the finished product of the sweater. What do you think? I'd love to see how yours turned out. And email me. My email's always in the description box. I just need to sew in the ends. But this is the finished sweater. Enjoy. Happy crocheting. And I'll see you in the next video.